Did you know that practicing just this one thing can easily turn beginner and intermediate drummers into pros? I've helped thousands of drummers add this simple concept to their practice and watch their drumming take off. Suddenly, they're not limited by sloppy timing or technique, and they're actually sounding the way they hear in their heads. In this lesson, I'm going to show you exactly how you can apply these golden technique rules into your drumming so you can unlock better technique and feel 10 times more confident on the drums. Let's get into it. The first thing that you need to know is how to hold the stick properly. So in order to do that, I'm actually going to give you a first-person perspective so you can see exactly what this should look and feel like. Now we're going to be going over the technique checklist, and step by step you're going to use this checklist to totally transform your drum technique and how relaxed and effortless it feels to play the drums anytime. If you want to download the entire technique checklist so you can print it out, put it right on your snare drum or floor tom or music stand while you practice so you never forget to check this stuff, then I'll put the link below for you. So in order to go through the checklist, we need to get our grip right in the first place. And then I'm going to teach you how exactly to use the checklist, how to practice with it every day so that you never have to think about your technique again. The first step is to shake your arms out, get nice and relaxed. So no sticks at all. Then you're going to take a stick, get your dominant hand first. It's going to just get things faster, and then use that to teach your opposite hand. So with that hand really relaxed, we're going to place the stick on the pad of your thumb, and then the index finger we're going to put for now opposite the thumb at the same point. Importantly, it should be this joint here, this little crease, which is called the distal interphalangeal joint, the DIP, and that's going to go on the stick opposite the thumb and the thumb pad. The back of the stick is going to be touching the middle of the fleshy part of your palm here, called the hypothenar eminence. Now that's going to go here like that. Now we don't want to be here at the bone. We don't want to be out here at this crease, because both those places, they're going to cause you some trouble that we're going to skip why. Go ahead and try it yourself and find out. So right in the middle of the hypothenar eminence, where it's all nice and squishy, is where the back of the stick goes. You want a little bit like this much around there, as long as there's a good balance. You don't want to be holding it at the butt end of the stick and too far, and it's going to feel wonky. So you're about a third up the stick with your fulcrum. Now your back fingers, so middle, ring, pinky, should just gently wrap around the stick. And at this point, those DIP creases of each finger, they are all in contact with the stick, nice and relaxed. Importantly, at this point, I'm not squeezing tight, not holding really tight. I'm really loose and relaxed. You should be able to hold it so loose while you're playing that I can come up to you and just pull it straight out of your hand, just as easy as that. Now, on to the checklist. The technique checklist, I want you to think of it as a pre-flight checklist. Now, think about what the crew and pilot of an airplane does before they take off. They have a pre-flight check, and they make sure that everything about the plane is in order so nothing can go wrong and the plane doesn't fall out of the sky, right? We want to do basically the same thing with our technique using this checklist so that everything is in place for us to be relaxed, stay relaxed, and not limit ourselves in any way on the drums. So the first thing you need to remember when you're holding the sticks and when you go to play is to check the gap. Now, what is the gap? The gap is this space between your index and thumb right here. You want to make sure that gap is always there no matter what. So try this with me. If you close that gap by wrapping your index finger around the stick, see the gap is closed, do you feel all that tension in your forearm? Now open the gap back up. It's a world of difference, right? So one thing that can help with this is not to do what I told you a few minutes ago, which was put your index finger and thumb at the same place, but slide that up a little bit so the index finger is a little above the thumb and the middle finger goes up a little bit more. So I think of, at that point, the fulcrum is a bit of a triangle between the index, thumb, and middle instead of just both the same point. Another common one is doing middle finger and thumb as the fulcrum, and then the index finger is just forward as a guide. Now this is really good and nice and loose, but I find it a little too open for the shape and size of my hands, so I have this in between like that. So experiment with that to find what feels nice and relaxed and open for you, but still remains enough contact for control. And at that point, you're going to see that the gap is really staying there. The second thing on the checklist is to ask yourself, are all of my back fingers on the stick? What you don't want is for the back fingers to be off like this or just hovering in the air, because what happens at that point is the stick is just kind of jiggling in the back. And I see this all the time and help my students fix it all the time, and it makes a world of difference. If the back fingers are off the stick, then it jiggles around, and what does everyone do without realizing it? They tighten up here, and then it's still kind of jiggly, and you have all this extra tension. So it's just like a double whammy of negative effects on your playing and control, and it's easy to injure yourself when that happens. So if those back fingers are off, you need to readjust so the back fingers are on. You should be able to just let go with your index and it's still in there. Not that you play like this, but you need to be able to have the back fingers in contact with the stick pretty much at all times. There's very few exceptions to this rule. Obviously, there's things like a buzz roll where you take the back fingers off to get it to dribble a certain way. But those are exceptions, not the norm. So back fingers always on the stick. Number 3, ask yourself, are my hands relaxed? That goes hand in hand with keeping the gap open, but just in general, make sure you're not squeezing tight and having that tension, that holding onto the stick for dear life. If you're afraid of dropping the stick, just embrace it. The stick's gonna go flying sometimes. The skill should be picking up another stick without missing a backbeat, not never dropping a stick. If you're never dropping a stick, you're holding onto your sticks too tightly. So after we go through the next points, I'm gonna tell you exactly how to use it in your practice to transform your technique. It's going to make a huge difference. Like my student Simon here found that this was the most transformational thing for his playing. He's been playing for a long time. This made a world of difference for him.
The one that really broke me was Hold the Line by Toto. And I suddenly realized I can't do it. I kind of can do it for about 30 seconds. Right. And then I'm done. And then it's all here clamped up tight. The reason I came to your lessons and what you were doing was the beginning with I think you called it the pre-flight check. You know, when you're first doing this and you're doing this slowly, you know, what's going on here, right? As soon as it's like this, stop. And it has truly helped me. Now I have no problem. I have no problem whatsoever. I can play Hold the Line all the way through. I have no problem with this. I have no arm aching going on. It's a fluid thing.
Number 4, check that your arms are relaxed. So same thing, we're starting to do a body check. Make sure you don't have tension in your arms while you're playing or while you're about to play. So that goes hand in hand with like making sure that as you start to play, you aren't holding your arms out here. Because if you're doing that, you've got tension here for no reason to hold your arms out. If you just drop those shoulders, you can have a lot more relaxation with every single note that you play. Number 5, ask yourself, is my body relaxed? Do a full body check. Make sure you're not holding tension in your shoulders and your neck, in any part of your body, and be really relaxed about it. Now, number 6 through 9, we're going to go through as we actually practice. So how do you use the technique checklist? Well, like I said before, you think of it as a pre-flight checklist and a post-flight checklist. So when you get ready to play, let's say I'm going to play rebound strokes and practice those rebound strokes. Well, I'm going to practice just a single note, but I'm going to check the entire list before I do that one note. So with my right hand, I'm going to raise up, I'm going to start high, and I'm going to go through the whole list. So number 1, check the gap. If the gap isn't there, well, I'm glad I caught that and actually took the time to fix it. So I'm going to open that up, relax. Number 2, are my back fingers on the stick. I'm going to peek down and see, yep, they are all on the stick, checking all those parameters that I taught you in the beginning. Number 3, is my hand relaxed? Yes. Numbers 4 and 5, are my arms and body relaxed? Well, let's see here. I'm going to stop and feel all this stuff and make sure. Okay, I think we're good. Now, number 6 is about what's happening during the execution of the note. And that is, you're going to ask yourself, is the pathway of the stick in motion straight? So we want to go straight up and down. Now, that's from this angle, down and up. So I'm not like, straight from my body, but straight for the stick, down. In other words, you don't want to be going diagonally. See how that's like a diagonal kind of slashing kind of thing? That's not what you want to go for. Now, as you move around the kit, that might have to happen as a whip over here, whip back, etc. But if you're playing multiple notes on one drum, there's no reason to do that. It's inefficient, and you have to fight the rebound because it wants to go this way after the bounce. So you want to fix that. Make sure the stick is going straight, down, and up. That's number 6. Number 7 is a check that happens over multiple notes, and that's, are my motions consistent? So every time you play that note, is the stick pathway the same? Is the stick height starting at the same height? Does it sound like it's the same volume, so that you're verifying that you're starting at the same height and you have the same velocity or speed down to hit the drum? And are you hitting the same spot on the drum every single time? Because if you hit in the middle and then you hit an inch off of the middle, it's going to sound very different. And if your drum hits are that inconsistent, then the listeners can feel that, and it doesn't have like a consistency to it that people can actually groove and dance to. What I like to do is hit the center of the drum with every single hit. So I imagine that there's like a bullseye and I'm hitting the same spot every single time, and that is the only place I'm allowed to hit. That goes hand in hand with number 8, which is assessing whether your dynamics are consistent or not. You want to make sure that when you want to play a quiet note, you actually play a quiet note. When you want to play a medium volume note, you actually play that medium volume note. When you want to play an accent, you play the exact volume that you intend to. So it shouldn't be willy-nilly where it's kind of somewhere all over the place. Some are louder than others. Basically, the more precision you have with your dynamics at different stroke heights, the more control you have over every single note to say what you want to say. So practice playing these strokes an inch off. Practice playing 2 inches off, 3 inches off. Practice as close as you can, doing a little tap, making sure all those parameters are in place. And then the final important part of this puzzle, as you actually start to put this into your playing, the classic thing to do would be to put on a metronome and just play 8 per hand. So obviously check all these things very slowly with the left hand, and then you do 8 rights, 8 lefts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now you'll notice as I do these rebound strokes at this speed, the stick opens up. It's not against the back of my palm, and you can get really loose, relaxed rebound strokes that way. But my back fingers are all on there the entire time. If they came off, it's going to start to wobble right away. So the back fingers are on there, even though it's not against the palm. So getting dynamic consistency is really important. And all of that helps with number 9, which is checking are all of my notes in time. So put on that metronome, make sure you're dead on with it. The real secret to doing all of this is to stop playing whatever note rate you're playing and play whole notes at 50 beats per minute or slower. That gives you the time to use this entire checklist as a pre-flight checklist, and it will completely transform your technique and your drumming. So check everything and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, check the gap, check the back fingers, 1, 2, feel my body, make sure I'm relaxed, 1, 2, am I in time with the click, hitting the same volume every time, etc. I'm not doing to a click right now, but you get the idea there. These things are going to totally transform how relaxed your hands are, from having tension and playing with too much force to getting a great open sound from the drums all the time, because when you are this loose with the stick, you are then allowing the stick to vibrate naturally, which allows the drums and cymbals to vibrate more fully. You're going to sound better, hurt yourself way less, and have just a much better time playing. If you want to download the entire technique checklist so you can print it out, put it right on your snare drum or floor tom or music stand while you practice, so you never forget to check this stuff, then I'll put the link below for you. If you want to combine this knowledge with the technique that most drummers totally overlook, and it makes a huge difference in your ability to play doubles and paradiddles and play with speed with all of these different patterns, then check this video out.